Liam, how'd he do?
How we
Have you
doing?
heard that impression before?
Yeah, it's the worst I've heard.
See, come on. Mate, we were
And let's be
traded
honest, the
together.
first two starts with the Blue Jays were all right. And
The
then
first two.
they decided to put me into the bullpen for Stroman, and I never got. And then I get I did see a little tidbit the other day. I was the last game the Blue Jays ever won in Cincinnati before this last series was the game I started, and I gave up 7.
You did. You gave up 7. It was like they were.
And
I'll
if I
never forget
remember
that game. Yep.
If I remember correctly, you had was it like a 7 or 8 pitch at bat against the Aroldis Chapman, and the one fastball he threw you was a double off the wall.
Yep. I was waiting for it. Foul ball,
He was
change. He threw
scared.
me 2
He was
changeups
scared.
that at bat, and then I hit it over Skip Schumacher's head, now manager of the Marlins, and it was a double off the wall, scoring none other than Colby Razzle Dazzle.
Wow,
But
And that was I still remember that was Jose Bautista had come in after I'd been taking. I started the game, didn't even get an at bat, and then this is back when we used to hit and stuff, but didn't get an at bat, and Bautista came in and just said, "Don't worry, we got this one. Don't worry about it. We're going to win this one." And I mean that sums up Jose Bautista. So congratulations to him on his retirement. But that's the kind of guy he was as well.
That's the kind of lineup we had too. I mean, it was the Dominican Bombers. I mean, it was Bautista to Eddie to Brett Lowry. I think he was Dominican. Adam Lynn. The dudes were just smashing.
I mean, Russell the Muscle, Deanna Navarro, Kevin Pillar. Yeah, I mean that Ryan Goins was there. Devin Travis, I think he was healthy at the time. Like we had that lineup was stupid. That lineup was unreal. Well, I mean, 14 and 15 for us, but. Yeah, it was something special. That was a really cool little group to be a part of.
But then we got traded together, and at the time, it was the Liam Hendriks trade, and it turned into Eric Kratz trade.
It was the Danny Valencia trade.
It was the get rid of. Well, you tell it. You tell it.
Yeah. So Danny I still keep in touch with Danny, and Danny calls. He goes, yeah. So you get traded to the Blue Jays. He's like, okay, who for? Liam Hendriks. He goes, okay, yeah, who else?
Yep.
That was the Danny one. So it was me and you for Danny Valencia, and yeah, I mean, shaped the way for everybody. You went straight to the big leagues. I decided to go to the Omaha Storm Chase and had to wear my socks up for the first time in my career. Yeah.
What a journey! What a journey it's been from you. A starter bouncing around. Like that trade was just to get rid of Danny Valencia, but it put you on a path to then go back to the Blue Jays, and all of a sudden you said, "Oh, all right, mate, I'm gonna throw a cutter at 97." What a transition! And I'm glad that I could be the one to help you get into that transition.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that bullpen of the 2014 Royals, been Wade Davis, Greg Holland, Kelvin Herrera. You had James Shields and Jeremy Guthrie in the rotation. You had Scott Downs, Jason Fraser out there. That, I mean, you talk about some dudes that can give you some knowledge, and that was my first experience of actually sitting in a bullpen for an extended period of time, and being able to learn from those guys. I mean, that sort of stuff's invaluable. That's why I think a lot of teams they need that veteran leadership, especially in the bullpen, because you need to learn how to show up every single day and be ready to go.
All right, so let's get the update first on how you're doing. Obviously, we'll get into what a wild damn ride it's been. Yes, exactly. Picture proof.
Yeah, that fit is nice.
How's that brace? How's it going?
What's crazy is it actually hurts less now than pre-surgery. So there's that's going for me, which is nice. Yeah, get a little smiley face on the inside of the elbow now, which is at 34 isn't exactly when I expected to. Like I was hoping once I got past early 30s, I'd be all right and in the clear, but unfortunately not. But surgeon said it went perfectly. He also said, "How the heck were you able to throw last year after doing the same thing you did this year?" So yeah, it was, it's been in the works unfortunately for a while, and look, I'm personally extremely proud of the way I was able to get back this year and accomplish everything I kind of wanted to this year. And I left no stone unturned. I mean, I threw a live BP in New York when we were playing the Mets just after the All-Star break, and was 2-4. And then the next, with pain, and then the next day next bullpen was in Minnesota. I threw a live BP, and I mean, I gave the last couple pitches everything I had, and it was 92 with pain. So showed up the next day, long toss with a heavy ball, long toss with a light ball, trying to snap that shit clean off. And here we are.
Now, I'm going to go back to the text that I sent you just recently. And I said, sorry to hear about your Tommy John. And your response was epic. You said, it is a blessing. I can't believe it lasted this long. 2008?
I mean, yeah, so I had so the way it gets described to me now is I had no idea. I thought the UCL was almost like a band, like the ankle bands you use. I thought it was similar to that, but no, the surgeon was like, no, it looks like almost like an upside down tortilla chip, which is the way he described it. Very crude drawings and stuff like this. But the pointy part was completely torn, and that's been torn since 2008. But it had calcified over, so there was a little bit of like my own body protecting me with that. And then I had started to rip the top part of it as well, and that's what had really caused everything. But look, it's we gave it a shot. We gave it our best go, and as my wife decided to post on Instagram the other day, I can now lift the toilet seat up and down without pain, which is new territory for me.
Christy always has a way with words, and I appreciate that about her.
Wait, I have a question though. Timetable? Do we know? Like, can you come back next year? Is there any chance, being that you are a reliever now, that you could speed up the process?
So they sent out the kind of timeline and all this sort of stuff. I've already trimmed some fat off it. So the plan is to be like, obviously, depending on how it all goes, and who knows how it's going to go, but they always say 12 to 15, and let's shoot for 12, and that'll be 12 months will be August, so 13 months will be September, and that's the goal right now. But obviously take it smart, be in the right frame of mind, and do everything the right way now. But look, if there's little things that I can do to push it along further, that's what I'm going to do.
Hell yeah, there's nothing like a reliever coming back for the stretch run. I mean, hey, that was the talk about Edwin Diaz this year. If the Mets had been in contention, it would have been cool in New York. So maybe we get that story next year. So also clarification, because I was trying to look, and I'm a pretty big like contract and numbers nerd, but I'm like, dude, your contract is very unique. So like, when are you a free agent? And I mean, you don't have to give me every part of it, but I obviously I think they put it out in public anyway. So can you explain it better than I can?
Yeah. So what it is when I signed with the White Sox, look, they weren't willing to guarantee that fourth year, but we had a little bit of a workaround that they had reached out and brought the idea to us about. And it's similar to like an NBA style contract where the option and the buyout are the same price, but the buyout is paid out over 10 years. So if they pick up my option, great, I get paid next year. If they decline my option, I get paid a certain amount every year for the next 10 years, and I'm also a free agent at that point. So look, I've been very open to everybody in the front office as far as like coaching staff and everybody who would want to listen that I want to stick around. I feel like I have unfinished business in Chicago. And look, the ball's in their court. I have no say over the option, but it is what it is. And they know my personality, and they know what I feel like I can bring in a clubhouse setting. And hopefully I get a chance to come back to the South Side. Yeah, which I'm still here right now because I'm still rehabbing here because that was one of the other things I requested. I was like, look, can I still be in Chicago? There's some young guys in the bullpen between Brian Shaw, myself, Aaron Bummer, that we've got some veteran guys out there, but we really want to focus in and harp on doing things the right way and making sure the guys are available. And it's a young bullpen out there now, which we can hopefully be molding into the future long-term guys in this organization.
Which is needed. Which is like you're a guy that has been through. You were a prospect. You were coming over as a high school kid. You were then kind of a failed prospect, bouncing around to elite all-star closer. Like, there's so much knowledge that you can add to this bullpen. And quite frankly, we've had the White Sox on a piss ton. Like, this is what they need. They need a guy like you to be able to tell them, hey, you're being a real pissat here. And not just the players, helping the front office, helping because you've been so many places, helping Pedro. You remember seeing Pedro when we were at the Royals, he was getting his feet wet. And like, you can be there for more than just those players. And I think the White Sox would be dumb to not keep you around.
Look, at the end of the day, I have no idea what their intentions are, but my job now is, as you said, like I've been through the ringer. I've been DFA'd 5 times. I've bounced around. I've been on the verge of, while you guys were in the World Series with Kansas City in 2014, I was sitting in the Dominican being DFA'd and trying to figure out if I'm going to go to Korea or have a job stateside still. So I've been through a lot of things in my career, and look, it is what it is. There's a lot of knowledge I've learned, but I've learned how to come back from the brink. I've learned to do things in a certain manner that have got me to where I am and to be as successful I have been able to be, luckily, over the last couple of years. But I mean, another guy out there, Brian Shaw, he's fantastic. Like, he brings that 80 game appearances every single year. He brings that attitude of, I just want to play. It doesn't matter what situation, doesn't matter what organization. Like, it doesn't matter. I want to pitch, and that's all he wants to do. Like, he gets visibly upset when the phone rings and it's not for him, even if it's we're up by 10. Like, it doesn't matter. He just wants to play.
Yeah, and you need that. So I remember at one point last year you said, "Hey, as a unit, I think we need an authoritarian." And I'm wondering, based off what's happened, obviously the season didn't work out well for the White Sox. Now there's been changes with the front office. I know that's not your job, but you've been in this organization. You saw the comments, I'm sure, from Keenan Middleton. Is it that bad? Or do you think that some of this is overblown? Like, give us the real talk on what you think the White Sox need to do as a team culturally to turn things around and be a consistent winner in that division.
Yeah, so I mean, I said what I said last year as far as, look, you need someone who's going to come in and have a set base of rules, and there are certain things that Pedro's come in and done. Like, okay, there's certain little bits that we need to accompany by. But as Kratzy knows, and being in a clubhouse, it's very, very much player run. So if you see something you don't like as a veteran player, you're going to have to that's almost on your job to be able to do something about it. Now, things have gone a little waylay in league wide because of, like, it's now the rookies are coming up and I don't know if it's social media, I don't know if it's whatever it is, but they come up feeling a little bit more entitled, and used to be able to they cut them back down to earth, but now it's you need to prosper, you need to kind of grow these guys, and everyone has a different way of doing things. Everyone has a different way of feeding into the beast, whether it be, okay, this guy needs to be supported, or this guy needs to be torn to shreds to be able to feel better about it, like to get to where he needs to be. So it's now that learning game of reading guys' body emotions and making sure that we put them in the best spot to succeed. But yeah, it's going to be largely like, there's certain things like since recently, we have now started going back to what we did as a bullpen, where we walk in together. We don't walk in singularly. We walk in, bullpen catchers, Kurt Hassler, the bullpen coach. We all walk in together because that's what LaTroy Hawkins told me in 2015. Because we are a family out there and we are all in this together. And that was something that was not quite happening earlier in the year. But also, like, my story's been a little bit different this year, where I haven't quite felt like I had the authority to really get on guys as much because, one, I wasn't playing, two, I wasn't around at the start of the year. And honestly, life's perspective is a little bit different now. There's certain things I was like, I honestly just don't want to deal with it.
Yeah, but don't you feel like a team should be built where it's like, hey, we're men. Like, we don't need someone else telling us what we're doing. And it sounds like you're stepping up and making that change. And that is how a team starts to win and comes together. And I think your perspective on your life perspective is crazy to talk about a guy who just showed us your new smiley face you have on your elbow. And it's really the least important surgery that you had or medical event you had this year. Like, what an amazing story you have. What amazing wife and Christy to be behind you for this. Walk us through how that has changed you to be a better teammate.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Christy's an absolute rock star. There is no way I'd be, even before everything happened this year, there's no way I'd be where I am without her. Like, every time I was feeling down about myself, every time I was doubting my abilities, she would be there picking me up. I still remember a conversation we had where I was like, man, like, that guy just struck out 100 as a reliever. That's amazing. She goes, why can't you do that? I'm like, I just don't really have, like, that's not who I am. She goes, why not? Why isn't that you? Why can't you beat that guy that strikes out 100? And now, like, I was able to do it twice, and that's something that is really important to me. But look, yeah, it's been interesting. Like, I don't know if you can see on the camera, there's a scar under here, and that yeah, that was where they cut a lymph node out of my neck to truly define what I was diagnosed with, which is stage 4 non-Hodgkin's lymphoma in December. And so I've got 2 smiley faces. One's just under my chin and not as cool, and the other one is hopefully giving me a new lease on life and able to extend my career by 5-6 years. And I can get to now. The goal is now with a new elbow to pitch longer than LaTroy did, and he got to I think he was 42 when he retired and decided to retire. So if I can make 43, we'll be good.
What
Mate.
age? 43? That's the age?
43, mate. Look,
Yeah, we'll see.
Wow.
I mean, at that point, I could just push for Jamie Moyer, and who knows?
mate, you're not Superman here. You're not going to even be able to use the poop paper to wipe your ass when you're done.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't been able to do that for a couple of years anyway. So what's new?
Well, he's going to have a new elbow, though.
He's going to have a new elbow.
It's going to be brand new. I got a brace in there. It looks like a shoelace running around through my elbow. They took part of my groin to put it in there. So, I mean, I feel like that's relatively strong, but that could just be me.
That is
projecting.
It seems pretty strong, but I need you to trim that beard up. If you have a story for a scar, I need to be able to see that scar. Except if you trim that beard up, then we're going to see that double chin. So we don't have time for that. So
it's not quite a double chin. It's just a very prominent bottom part, and that's why like I joked around. There was a Yankees fan earlier in the year. It was like, yeah, we know you look good without a beard. I'm like, bullshit, you do. I look horrible.
By the way, Liam, so when you pitch until 43, what would be the next step? Because obviously we've been excited to have you on here. This is a perfect platform for you because we can just chill and have a good time and, drop a few F-bombs, whatever we got to do. Like, if I ask you for like your 10-year plan after you pitch, would you rather be like in the media or a manager?
Well, first 2 years are Christy's years. She's followed me around long enough during the season, so she gets, and it's all her. If you want to go vacation, if you just want to sit at the house and do whatever you want, those are her years. She gets to decide because, I mean, let's be honest. As baseball players, we put our lives through a lot, whether it be travel, whether it be through trades middle of the season, whether it be through contract negotiations that you don't know where you're going to go until all of a sudden I need to be there a week later. Like there's a lot that goes into it, and we have a lot of animals running around, so she has to take care of all those while I'm gone as well. So first 2 years are hers. Probably more, but that's up to her. If she wants me out of the house after a little bit, that's also her prerogative as well. So, look, I'd love to get into media, whether it be broadcasting or whether it be podcasting, whether it be a little bit of both, whether it be something. I know that I would love to get into more of a national side of thing, just because I know who I am as a person, and if I'm dealing with the same team over and over again, I'm going to get biased and jaded, and certain things aren't going to be great after a little bit. So I know that I want to be able to switch around different teams and do that sort of stuff. But look, I'd love to be a part of the media, but we'll see how it goes. I mean, obviously, hopefully I can play for another 5-10 years, and it's a decision that we don't have to make anytime soon.
Yeah. Okay. First of all, Sarah and Christy are friends. Okay, so you don't need to be brown nosing. You're 2 years, no chance she can even stand you for 6 months. The off season is 4 months long, so you.
Well, I didn't say I was going to be on vacation with her.
Oh, so she
just maybe go by herself.
So it's like the animals.
It's like you do have to watch the
she
cats. She
gets to go away for season.
The dogs, the flamingos. By that time, you'll have a lion in the backyard. It'll be
cats,
great.
The dogs, the dingoes, the platypuses.
And mate, platypi. You'll have more than one. We'll have a chair right here for you. In Borgata, we'll have a chair right for you, and we'll yuck it up, and we'll talk about catas, and we'll talk about everything baseball on a national stage.
Well, that's the one thing Chrissy's got. I can't throw a cutter to save my life. I've never been able to. If I cut a ball, it's completely by accident. But Chrissy's got these little hands, and she has the natural cut when we played catch a couple times, and that won't happen again because I hit her in the shin a couple times and she refuses now. But yeah, she has the natural cut, and she wears me out about it. She's like, no, you just don't have a cutter. Like it's not. You don't have a cutter like mine.
That's funny that you wear her out in the shins, because I don't know if you remember, but in Buffalo, the first changeup you would always throw in a game would bounce. Every single one of them when you were a starter. And he had, what did you have, like 27 straight scoreless innings or something in Buffalo that year? 23?
That was Bobby Korecki.
No, you did
I
too.
started the season off okay. I did it right, but I don't think I had 27 straight. I think I went 27 straight innings without a walk, and then I walked the same guy twice, and it was against I want to say it was against Scranton Wilkes-Barre, and it was the same guy, and the guy was hitting like $120, so it wasn't anybody to write home about. I just couldn't throw a strike to him, and I blame the catcher for not framing. But
was it? Yeah, sorry about that.
Sure.
Was it Dan Johnson? Did you walk Dan Johnson twice? Is that who it was?
no, he was on our team. Remember, he was on our team. So full disclosure, we'd be playing NHL in the little bunker in between. He'd be DHing and coming up and playing a period, then going back down, getting another at bat.
Oh, he was on that
While
team
we're
in
all meant to
14.
be charting.
That's right. Yeah, you were charting, but you were playing NHL on, what was that? Your PlayStation 2, maybe? Or Xbox?
I don't know what it was, but all I know is we kept getting our asses whooped by all the clubbies. They were way better than us.
They were ridiculous. Anyway, NHL, that's random.
Unbelievable.
Hey, I want to finish with this because we're actually in South Jersey, so this crowd needs to hear about this regardless. But you've got a little tailgate action going on with a big celebrity in this state, and it's all for a great cause. There it is.
Yeah.
Give us the details of how this came together.
Yeah, so Christian and I are both very big. So we started watching Jersey Shore back in the day. As soon as I got diagnosed, as soon as I was healthy, we were thinking about ideas of look, what can we do in the South Side? What can we do to make an event? What can we do to raise awareness? And we know that Pauly D has done a lot with Be the Match, which is one of the nation's leading bone marrow and transplantation kind of organizations. So we had reached out, and I mean, I don't even think it got to be 2 hours before he'd reached back out and said, absolutely, I'm in. And so we set up for September 15th out in Chicago. So he's going to come out. All donations will go to Be the Match. They're going to be giving out swabs where you can get checked to see if you're a match for anybody who's currently going through or needs bone marrow transplant, who's currently going through any sort of cancer diagnosis. And that's something, because this is something that they had mentioned that potentially maybe in my future, depending on if it comes back and all this sort of stuff. So this is something that's near and dear to both Chris and I's hearts. But yeah, he reached out straight away, and I mean, I am pumped to say the least. I mean, you see, and look, it's like my progression you were talking about, Eric. It's watching the progression of DJ Pauly D from Jersey Shore season 1 to where they're at now. It's been a thrill ride. So I'm super excited to get a chance to hopefully to meet him and be a part of the situation. But more importantly, just so excited to be able to kind of partner with such a guy in an event that he does a lot for in the community and really put our best foot forward and hopefully raise a ton of money, a ton of awareness, and hopefully, honestly, get a couple people swabbed that then think about donating their bone marrow to save someone's life. Because that's at the end of the day, that's all we're trying to do. We're just trying to save lives out here.
That's an awesome charity you guys are working towards. Now, I have to say, you've never met Pauly D?
No, I have not. So, I mean, it's surprising because we obviously run in the same circles.
Well, the reason I say this, do you know that one of our teammates from 2014 is that okay?
Yes,
so that's the connection.
No. The connection wasn't that. We had.
Okay.
I think Christy maybe have reached out and tried to figure out she knew the connection obviously, but we had reached out because of just all the work that Pauly D has done in Be the Match. Like he's done plenty of it, and that was through one of the other cast members on the show. Unfortunately, lost her father, and that was something they had really got into, and he has just been plowing through it ever since. And we had reached out, and I mean, when I tell you, it was almost instantaneous. The reply saying yes, I'm in. I mean, that just shows you who he is. It wasn't a deliberation. It wasn't anything like that. It was 100% I'm in. We'll figure it out.
So the connection, 2 degrees of separation. I never would have said Pauly D, Wade Davis, and Liam Hendriks.
Wade Davis?
Wade Davis's
wife was in Snooki's wedding.
Was in Snooki's wedding because they were friends in high school. And then, she wasn't on Wade Davis's wife was not on the Jersey Shore, but Wade went to Snooki's wedding. But anyway, that is
wild.
That's
Wade
wild.
Davis is not the name I expected to hear interviewing and being around him. I mean, less than you guys, but Wade Davis is not going to the clubs where Pauly D's playing and fist bumping his ass off. I can tell you that.
Yeah. GTC.
At the end of the day, look, Gym Tan Laundry, GTL.
Laundry. Thank you, GTL.
Well, dude, that's
Come on,
awesome.
son.
That's
Come on,
awesome.
son.
So we'll put it all over our socials, actually, because especially
I
our
appreciate it.
show and our pod, it's a very, very heavy Chicago crowd. So we'll make sure to circulate that, dude. Have fun with that. Have fun with him. We'll see your best fist pumping there. And, dude, great to catch up with you, all right?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on. Thanks for letting me talk about it all. And look, I appreciate it. And Kratzy, I'm sure you've still got a couple bruises from the lawn darts because it wasn't only the changeup I was spiking. Let's be honest.
Let's be honest. The cutter wasn't that hard, so it didn't bruise me. But make sure you do your fist bumping.
Look, can you stop
DJ
calling it
Pauly,
a cutter? It was a slider. It was a slider. It wasn't a cutter. You make
Well,
me
now
feel
it's a
bad by
cutter.
calling it a little shitty cutter. It was a slider. It was a banger of a pitch. I mean, come on.
just make sure you do your fist pumping with Pauly D left-handed, okay? They want to see you back.
I can lock it out. So I'm going to lock it out at 90 and then just bang.
That's incredible. Just a quick flip.
Just a quick
And
lock
I'm
it out.
ready.
There
Lock
he is.
it out, make sure it doesn't move, and I can go to town.
That's incredible. Liam, dude, great to talk to you. Have a great weekend, and we'll look for some great content from that in a couple weeks.
Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Love the shirt, Ronnie.
Thank you so much. Cheers, man. Liam Hendriks of the Chicago White Sox. Absolute gem.
You heard he say he likes the
fun.
shit.